Well, good afternoon, and thank you for coming. I think this is a great event and a great initiative by the DCI to put on something like this. It's not enough, if you ask me. And so any opportunity that we get to get information about small business, especially on businesses, is a good opportunity. As you know, the economy thrives when business thrives. And unfortunately, there's not enough businesses thriving right now. And so therefore, we are here to provide guidance and assistance to help people with their businesses as they go along and as they get into that sort of development. Today, I'm going to have a short presentation on the importance of a business plan. And it will be broken down in a couple sections. First thing, I'm going to tell you what is a business plan. Then we'll talk about the importance of a business plan. And then we're going to talk about the components of a business plan. So the main topic is the importance of a business plan. And as you know, if you are planning to build a house, you need a plan. If you don't have a plan, 99% of the time you'll probably fail. The house will probably fall down. You need to have a plan before you start any business. Many businesses fail because of the absence of a plan. If you do have a plan, the plan is for somebody else's business, not theirs. And sometimes they don't even update themselves on the business plan. So therefore, what we find happening is that businesses are failing around us. And one of the reasons is because the lack of proper planning. Right. So what is a business plan? It's a written description of your business's future. You need to be able to have a vision of what you want to achieve. And that's why entrepreneurs are normally called visionaries, because we want to see what's going to happen in the next couple of years. Where do we want to take our business? What we want to achieve? What's our purpose for having the business? It's a description of your path to that goal. And so therefore, a business plan is that item that will help you to get there. It also defines what you plan to do. It gives you steps to take. Yes, I know where I want to get, where I want to reach, what I want to achieve, but I need to also know how do I achieve it. I need to have some description or some method of getting there. And so this is why we create a business plan, so we could have some record that we can follow by, some instructions that we can take to get to that point, and also how to do it. We now know what we need to do to get there, but also how we're going to do it. And so the plan has all those items inside it. In a nutshell, that's what a business plan is. Remember, if you want to start a business and be successful, you need to have a plan. Take some time, sit down, figure out whether you want to be in business or not. And as I always say, if you're not in business to make money, don't go into business. You can't be in business just to provide employment or just to have a business. Business is about making money. You have services or products, you sell them and make a profit. If you don't want to make a profit, you're in the wrong thing. You may want to have a not-for-profit business, but that's a different type of business. The business we're talking about is the one where you want your business to grow, you want to achieve results from your business, and that's one of the reasons why you want to have a business plan. So that's, in a nutshell, is what a business plan is. Now, why do you need a business plan? The importance of a business plan, which is what this whole presentation is about. As a business owner, you require a business plan to ensure the success. The person that needs the business plan the most is you. Yes, you might say the bank needs it, or my investor, or somebody needs it, but you as a business owner is the number one person that needs a business plan, because it's you going to create the business plan. I do business plans for clients, and they said, can you do my business plans for me? I said, no, I can't do a business plan for you. I will help you do it, because it's your business. You should be involved in the business plan. It's your idea. You have to give me the information or create information of how you want to create the plan, and you take it from there and you develop it into something that will work. I'll be here to guide you, to show you where you might make a mistake and what to avoid, and tell you about some experiences in the marketplace. But the business plan is for you to use as a tool. And it's not a tool you use when you start your business. You have to use it for the lifetime of the business, because it needs to be updated as things go along. And I guarantee you, things will change as go along. So what you start with today is not going to be what you see next year and the other year. So you have to understand that you need to work with it. Have it on your desk on a regular basis and refer to the business plan because it's a plan of action. Building a house, you always see the construction engineer or the contractor with a big plan in front of him every day, making sure that everything is laid nicely. He has to have his plan in front of him as he moves forward because he will make mistakes. It's the same thing with a business plan. It should be right there so you can follow your plan of action as you go on. I see many companies start with a great business plan and they fail. And when you look at what they did to what was in the business plan, it's something totally opposite. It's a tool that you have to use from time to time to make sure that you follow the plan of action. Banks are requiring business plans more now. Before you could go to a bank and ask for a loan and they would consider other requirements, but now a business has to provide a business plan. That's one of the requirements for banks. And they review it every year. So they expect you to do the same because they understand that the business plan is a plan of action and that the projections that you show in the business plan should follow through. Now, there's an important part in the business plan called the financial section, which I'll speak on later on. But that's one of the most important areas. And for banks, that's what they're really interested in. They like to hear about the marketing aspect of it, but the business plan, the financial side for a bank is very important because they want to make sure that if you're going to borrow money for your business, that you can pay it back. And that's so important. So the banks are going to require financing. Investors also want to see a business plan because if you're going to ask me to invest in your company and you don't have a plan of action, I'm not going to give you my money because I really don't know where you're going. You need to be able to produce a business plan to your investor if you want to have someone come in with your idea and finance your operation. So they require business plans as well. It should be reviewed on an annual basis to ensure compliance with the projections and the goals that are established within. So what we're trying to say, who needs it and why do you need it? You as the owner of the business need it to chart your course, to follow your course, to know where you want to end up, to know what you want to achieve, and to monitor your actions. Banks need it as well, investors need it. And of course, it's something that you must review on an annual basis. The components of a business plan. Any questions so far? Okay, great. Mission statement. Your business plan should have a mission statement. The first thing you want to know is, what is your goals? What do you want to achieve? Why am I doing this business? And you will see that as we go through these areas here, you'll see the importance of a business plan coming out in each one of them. You need to know what you're trying to achieve. Do you want to be successful in 4 years, 5 years? Do you want to own a big corporation? Do you want to have a small business and just stay at, for retirement? Why are you doing this? Do you want to make a lot of money? Do you want to, like I said, have some money for retirement? Do you want to leave something for your family to have after you're gone? These are the kind of things. You have to have a vision and a mission. And so therefore, your business plan should have a mission statement, what you're trying to achieve, what's your goal, and your purpose for doing what you do. And that should come from your heart. Because I always tell my clients, if you go into a business, you have to be in your business. You can't have a business if you're not in it. You can't have somebody running your business for you. Basically, they're running their business and you're just funding it. If you want to have a business to be successful, you have to be in it. You have to breathe it. You have to believe in it. I know that there's some clients who say, oh, well, I have an escape plan. If you start off with an escape plan, you know what's going to happen? You're going to be escaping. You don't go into business with a plan to escape. Yes, you might want to have some contingency plan in case something happens, but if you're looking at how to get out of your business when you're trying to get into your business, what's going to happen? It's going to fail. So therefore, your mission statement is important. Team. Comes back to team. When you're creating a business plan, you need to know who is going to work in your business. You should be in that team. You have to have people who are qualified, educated, who know about the business in your team. Because if you expect your business to be successful, skills are important. Yes, you may want to bring some students from school or some young people and try and train them to be, in your business. But for your business to grow, you have to have the expertise. So if you want to start a business you know nothing about, spend some time finding about the business before you start. The team is important, your management structure, and who else is working for you. And you have to have buy-in to the project. You have to have everybody on board with your business. So when you create your team in your business plan and you list it there, you'll need to say what are the skills required for your business, who's going to have the skills, and what their roles are. And give a short description of your team. And your team should include you. You must always be in your team. The executive summary sort of gives you an overall picture of the whole business at a snapshot. And some institutions would like to get an executive summary rather than a detailed business plan. Business plans can go from 5 pages to 25, 30 pages. Me, I want you to make sure that you don't overkill. So therefore, there are business plans that you can do in short times, some more elaborate. And of course, the bigger the project is, the more elaborate it's going to be. If you're trying to get funding from the bank, the business plan that you use or you create for $10,000 or $20,000 is a lot smaller and less detailed than one for $500,000. So it's relative to the size of the business. The executive summary is a snapshot that banks like to see. In 1 or in 2 or 3 paragraphs, they get an idea of what your business is all about and what you're trying to achieve. So executive summary is normally something that comes right in here. And then you start to expand. So then you talk about strategy. What's your strategy? Remember we spoke about how you're going to achieve that plan? This is how you're going to talk about what I'm going to do to get there. My strategy is to have the lowest prices in the island so that everyone come to my business. Now, there are no friends in business. Of course, there are certain rules you abide by, and I believe in being fair, but you can't be too friendly in business. You're competing. You will have competition. We'll talk about soon. But if you're in business to win. And you have to have a winning attitude. Because if you want to be successful, if you want to get to the front of the race and want to win, you have to have a winning attitude. You can't want to stay in the back with everybody else and expect to succeed. You have to want to win. And so there's a strategy of how you're going to get there and what you're going to do. If you're going to provide training for your staff, if you're going to source the best products or the lowest prices, if you're going to have top quality items, if you're going to have perfect customer service, you have to have a strategy of how you're going to get there. It will not just happen. And even if they say, well, okay, there are 4 other businesses doing the same thing, you have to identify that you are different, and you have to show that you're different. You can do this, you can be in the same business, but you can be totally different because the way you market your products. So you have to find a way of being different. And the strategy for you to be successful is to do it differently and better. Your objective, what you want to achieve. Do you want to be profitable in 1 year, 2 years, 10 years? Do you want to grow and expand in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? What are you trying to achieve? Do you want to be the top furniture sales business in the island? Do you want to export? Do you want to expand overseas? Do you want to cater to a market that includes the region or the world? Do you want to have an internet site that everyone over the world can see? What's your objective? Where do you want to go with this? Or you just want to get enough money to pay yourself and you'll be all right? And I always said that's not good enough. You should have a big goal that you want to grow and grow and grow. And that's what it's all about business. A lot of business started small. I look around in Cayman Islands and around the world. They started in small operations. But now they're just growing and growing and growing. And some people will say, well, they want to take over everything and they want all the business for themselves. You can't blame them. It's about being in business, and that's how it is. You get addicted to it. You want to grow. And if you're successful, you want to keep succeeding. What I encourage those successful companies to do is to help those people along the way, because they got help when they were coming up, and you have to pass it on. So there's some people you have to help, and if you see other business come into the same marketplace, you don't have to try and cut them out and stamp on them. I hate to see that happen, because believe me, things have a way of coming back around. And you might feel like you're at the top of your game, but there's always somebody above you. And so time have a way of fixing things. So I said, as a business owner, if you're successful, try and help others along the way. Business environment.
Told us that business
Pardon?
You just said business doesn't friendships.
They're not friendship. We can get along, but we don't have to be friends. I can treat you fairly, I can treat you nice, I can say hi to you, but we don't have to go and have coffee. You know what I mean? When I say friendship is like, you know, yeah. So you can have friendship, but not real friendship. And in competition, I'm going to speak, I'll come to that in a minute. When we talk about market and so on, I talk about competition and friendships and so on. Business environment. A lot of people forget to look at where they want to do business. The economy is where you have to operate in. And so if you don't pay attention to what's happening, you will fail. Some businesses do good in this economy, others don't. You have to look at what the market conditions, what is happening out there. What is it? I would say that right now, the climate for businesses is not ideal. You have to work a lot harder now than you did years ago. But it doesn't mean that you can't succeed in certain things. The business environment is very important. You have to look around. Do you think you should go into a specific type of business? Real estate. Do you think you should build office buildings in Georgetown at this point in time? I don't think so. There's so much empty ones around the place. So even if you do that, you'll probably be losing money. There's, okay, supermarket. Should I go into a supermarket? Well, there's a couple out there already, you know. You have to understand the logistics. You have to understand the population growth. Is there enough people to provide enough business? So look at the business environment that you want to operate in. There might be a need for a service that doesn't exist. And so therefore, you may want to go in that direction. But the business environment is important for you when you're thinking about your business in your business plan. You have to look at your market. And this word tends to frighten me at first. Market analysis. How do you analyze the market? Unfortunately, there's not much statistics around that's easily available. I can't really go and tell you how the other business is doing because they're not my friends. I might want to see their performance, but they're not going to tell me how much money they're making on a monthly basis. In some other locations in the world, you actually can go to a site and you'll get an idea of what the performance is in certain types of business. What are their revenues, annual revenues, what are the profits or the break-even points. Those sometimes are available for some industries, but unfortunately in Cayman it's hard to find that. So if you want to go into a similar business, you really do not have the information that you can get easily to make a wise decision. So sometimes you have to like trial and error, guess here and there, or ask questions that, you know, it's very difficult to get information sometimes. But it's important for you to analyze the market as fine as you can. You want to see what is happening. If you see, for example, salons. Anyone has a salon? Beauty salon? No one, that's good. Beauty salon? A spa, okay. It is a tough business in this environment. There are many salons that have failed. There are many people have tried to sell them over. It is a business that is very difficult and for many reasons. But if I wanted to start one, I would like to know, okay, what's the turnover? How much money can I make from a salon? How much people will come to me to get the hair done? I know that a lot of people want to get the hair done, but is it really profitable? What are the fees? You could probably get the fees from the DCI. What it costs to set up, work permits. You know, so when you look at a situation where you're trying to get all this information, it can be challenging. But in a business plan, as much as you can is important. And you may have an idea for a business, but when you look at the numbers or this kind of information, you may change your mind. Target market. You know who you're selling your items to. Do they have money? Can they buy from you? You know, are you catering to a middle to lower income or medium to high income level? You have to know who your target market is. Is it going to be tourists? Is it going to be locals? It's important to know who your target market is and what they can afford. You remember those days when tourists would walk off the street, cruise ships and walk in jewelry stores and buy a Rolex? I remember those days. Those stores were doing very well. You hear them talking about now the maximum spend is $500 for the whole trip because they spend all the money on the cruise ships. So if you're targeting the cruise ship passengers today, you might want to consider lower price items because those people don't have much money to spend on shore anymore. And so therefore you can see what happened to those stores downtown. Around by the tourist area that used to sell to these cruise ships, some of them have closed the doors. And one of the reasons that the business plan didn't have those things, or they did, but they realized they had to make some adjustments. It also includes your marketing efforts, the efforts you're going to make to market your items. You cannot sell an item if nobody knows you have it for sale. You can have the best item in the world and the best price, but if nobody knows, it will not work. You have to market your product. You might say, Mr. Lewis, is very expensive. I know it's expensive, but you have to find a way of getting it done. And there are inexpensive ways that you can do. And by the way, you can negotiate. I was teaching this last night at the presentation on reducing costs. Learn to negotiate. But at the end of the day, you have to market your product. Sell your product. You see people every day. Get out there. You have to, if I don't know what you sell, I don't know. I can't buy it. And not everybody can walk down the street, take your time. So you have to find a way of getting to them. Now they say Facebook is there, and this, email is there, and you could call a friend, and you have flyers, and then of course there's the newspapers, and then there's a radio and there's a television, which are the more expensive. And there's, I guess, business and employment. But you need to market your product, and many businesses fail to do that properly. They launch their business, and for the first 6 months, no marketing is done. So they operate 6 months, and nobody knows what they have to sell. You cannot sell a product or service if no one knows it's there. So marketing is very key in your business plan. The most important section of your business plan is the financial part. And with a banking career, I emphasize this. If the money is not there, it's not going to work. You have to manage the financial projections well. You're in business to succeed, not to lose money. So therefore, you have to look at the dollar sign. Many businesses fail because somehow the owners forget about the money. They go and they work very, very hard, and they forget to collect. And when you ask them, what happened? Well, I didn't collect from all my work. Well, you should have a system where you build in the client and you collect the money. You have to pay attention to the financial side of your business. It's important. Many customers of mine, they come for consultation, and I ask them, do you write down how much you make on a daily basis, or do you track it, or do you bank it? They said, no. I get the money and I spend it. I said, well, that's the biggest mistake you could ever make. You have no clue how much you're making. You have no clue if you're losing or you're making it. We have a problem. You're going to soon find yourself where you can't pay your bills, and you want to know what happened. Well, you need to manage your money a lot better. And that's what's important, the financial projections. In your business plan, you need to have financial projections. You might say, well, how can I do that? You can do it by getting past experiences or sitting down and figuring out, okay, what does it cost me to operate this? You can figure out the cost of the items you're going to sell. You can look at what you're going to sell them for. Of course, you're going to mark up a certain amount so you can get more than what you purchased them for. You have staff costs, you have rent, you have utilities, you have bank loans. So you could actually figure out what your expenses will be. At the end of the day, you need to be making more than you're spending. And you should at least be making 20% more. It's important to do your financial projections. And normally 3 years. You say, well, I can't see 3 years. Well, we have to do it for 3 years. It takes time to sit down and figure out what you're going to spend. It will not be accurate, but you'll be having a foundation. You have something that you can work on, something you can compare what's happening to. And so therefore, if you find that you're budgeted for $10,000 per month and you're not making that, you need to understand what's going on. And you could adjust. Maybe you're spending too much, or maybe you're not buying enough stock. And I always say, in this climate, if you're not making at least $10,000 a month in revenue from a business, you may consider whether you should stay in business or not. And the reason why I said $10,000 is because when you look at the expenses to operate a small business in Cayman, $10,000 is not much, even for a two-man operation. So you have to be targeting at least $10,000 in revenues a month. You may not get there right away, but it's something you should think about in mind. Because you're looking at rent, utilities, wages, if you're not making above $10,000, that's a starting point. And so those of you who want to start a small business and want to figure, okay, how much money should I make on a monthly basis to really get someplace? Target $10,000. So you're looking at your products, how much you can sell to receive that amount. That's a benchmark I use.
That's 10,000 gross.
Yes, sales. You should be able to pay, for a very small business, you should be able to pay your expenses from that. I tried it with $5,000. It just didn't happen. It just can't happen. You know, and you look at the operations, let's look at it. You need some place to operate from. And look at the rental property, look at insurance. And you have so much expenses, there's a limit that you can go. Otherwise, you'll be wasting your time, really. Because all that you have to pay yourself. And that's one mistake that a lot of people make. We forget to pay ourselves. In the business plan, when we talk about the team, and I keep saying you should be in that team, all team members should be getting a salary. Your business should be paying salaries, not you. There are some clients who have a business, but they work for someplace else, and they're taking their earnings and paying the salaries. Your business should be paying its way, especially salaries, which is the #1 expense. So if your business is not paying its salaries, you don't understand what's happening here. You're going down a slippery slope. Your business should be paying its salaries. You should not be paying just out of your pocket. So when you're doing your budgeting, always put in salary for you as a business owner, because you have put time, effort, and investments into it. You have to get it back. All right? Right.
So you might not be making 10,000, so the person is still working.
Yes, of course.
On the business. So we call it like a capital
Investment. Yes.
But what, you get that for 3 to 6 months?
Depend on the business. Some business will not make money for a year, and some 2 years. Small business should at least make money first year. So, the first year, small business. So for 3 months, it's okay if you make a loss. What I will say, before you start the business, you should have resources to carry you through for that 3 months. So you have to have savings put aside. Because what happens is that some people, they have enough for 1 month. The second month, they're in a problem. Well, you cannot break even. You can't make a profit in 1 month. So when you go into business, you should have some resources set aside. When you're going for financing, that should be part of the request, working capital. Because we know that you're going to need those funds in order to make sure that the business can sustain itself. Otherwise, you'll fail. Some business take 5 years to materialize, generally, the thumb. 5 years to really materialize. It may make a profit, but when I'm saying materialize, to really be profitable and to really grow, it takes, to fine-tune the process, you need at least 5 years.
So in the preparation of the income side,
Yes.
you recommend the benchmark to be $10,000.
Yeah.
So if you're just starting out, you really don't know. You start off with a small business, and you don't have I don't have an idea well how much sales that will make.
Yes.
That's like you're estimating.
Yes.
But you're suggesting using a benchmark of 10,000.
Yes, that should be a goal. Yeah. So if you say, okay, I'm expecting to have 200 customers a month, and you're setting your rates, and maybe each of them is going to pay $10, that's $2,000. You need to understand, okay, $2,000 a month is not enough. So you have to figure out, okay, how do I get to 10,000? But it takes time to get there. So you may want to start off a little lower. You're going to get it overnight, but it's in your plan. Remember, this is all about a plan. So you have to have it in mind. And this kind of information is not readily available. And a lot of people go into business and have no idea, okay, when would I make a profit? What do I need to do? How much stock should I buy? How fast can I sell that stock? So you get all these questions being asked. And this is where the business plan comes in handy. You can sit down and really look at that and work through the numbers. We call them crunching the numbers before you even make a step to go into business. And that's why the plan is so important. And once you start, you have something to refer to from time to time. You know what? I should have $10,000 in revenue, total revenue, by month 3. But I'm still doing 4. What am I doing wrong? Okay, so this is important.
So the team you mentioned,
Yeah.
was sold,
Yes.
you know, and then tell a story on the paper, say in 3 years or in 2 years or what have you.
That's right.
Then we build a team.
I mean, I have I'm sole employee of one of my business. I'm the only one. I don't need it anymore right now. But as I grow, I will need to get somebody else to assist me. But in that team, it will be Ralph Lewis, owner, and whatever. So yeah, but you have to have it in there. Who's going to be working in the business? Okay. Funding requirements is normally something that we stick in there because unless you have a lot of cash, most businesses need to get funds from someplace. And it's always good when you present it to the bank that you tell them what you need, the purpose that you need it for, what you're willing to pay back. You also say what security you're going to provide, and tell them what interest rate you're looking for. In other words, you want to negotiate with the institution or the lender or the investor. You know what? I need some cash. So there's always a section for funding requirements. If you have your own money, that's okay. But if you need funds to help you with your business, you need to be able to have a section for funding requirements. It's a small section, but it tells you what you need. And so therefore, and what's the purpose? Because you need to know where the funds are going to be spent, and that should be broken down where the money is going to be spent. Like I mentioned, always remember a little working capital in there. A lot of clients of mine go into business and have no cash. The cash flows are zero because they never figured out that you wouldn't get sales the first day. And so therefore, after a month, there's nothing happening. You can't close down. You have to keep going. It will take time. Okay. I'm coming close to the end. Samples and templates of business plans I'll be happy to provide to you, send to you. You know, and you just email the request to me, please. lcs@cnew.ky. I downloaded some years ago, and I sort of fine-tuned them a bit, but I have different layouts for business plans depending on the size of business. I'll have to share it with you. You can use it. You probably have a fictitious company, but the layout is useful and gives an idea of what it should look like. So just email your request to me. I'll be happy to email it to you. All right, any questions, comments? Okay. lcs@candw.ky. L stands for Lewis, C Consulting, S for Services. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. One final tip before I finish. The business plan is your starting point and the test of viability. That will tell you if your business will succeed or not. It's amazing. If you do it right, you can actually see if your business will succeed or not, how long it will take, because you'll be able to develop a vision. Of course, it's always something that you really can't tell the future, but when you sit down and you plan it properly, you'll be able to take steps carefully and make sure that your vision will come in reality and your business will be successful. It may not happen right away. And believe me, we will not put down everything in the business plan. And things will change. I'll give my personal experience before I wrap up. I launched a newspaper last year called Employment Weekly. Did all my research, talked to all the right people, did everything right, applied for my license, got a license and everything. Thought I did everything right, but somehow it was blocked. You think that everything would have gone right. Spent the last 12 months trying to get it unblocked, but I won't go into details. But you think that you do everything, but somehow there's going to be something that comes in your way to stop you. If you have a dream and a vision, don't give up, because that's how life is. Everything happens for a purpose. You could always go around that bump or change. So what I did, my newspaper was called Employment Weekly last year when I did the presentation. Today's Business and Employment. And this has more, the business plan for this has more promise than the old one. Because the other business plan had focused on just job advertising. Now I'm going to be promoting businesses. Now I can't print it yet, but then again, I really don't want to print them anymore. because what I found is I wanted to help provide employment for Caymanians. And what was being printed and what was in the business model was not really going to do that. So, you know, yes, there's a piece of business right there. But in the end, something has told me, no, Ralph, that's not where it should be going. Yes, I'm going to fight for the fair treatment, but that is not what it's all about. I'm taking the lessons I've learned. And what I'm trying to say, you will start a business, you will try everything, you'll have the perfect business plan, but something may happen where you just cannot continue. And so therefore, you have to just step back. Don't give up. Don't let go of your dream. And don't let anybody take it from you, because you didn't start this thing to stop. Remember what I said earlier? If you have a plan to get out, you shouldn't get in the first place. I didn't have a plan to get out. I have a plan to succeed. And so therefore, I had to just change strategies. And believe me, I'm going to make it work. So, your starting point and your test of viability. Pay close attention. Remember the financials. Yes, ma'am.
I say a delay is not a deny.
Right, that's right. Well, I want to thank you for being here. I think this is a very good attendance. It's my pleasure to be presenting to you once again, and hope that if you start your business, that you'll be successful. Have a great evening.